Ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. Hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. I'ma rep my city and salute my town. Said ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. I'ma hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. And I'm ready for whatever, and I still stand proud. Ain't no way. Who you think you kidding, dude? Never thought that I would do.
What up, though? It is your boy Mike D, host of the Wrestling from the 313 podcast. We are back on another Tuesday night. It is WrestleMania week, so I know everybody's excited about that. We're gonna talk a little bit about that later on in the show. But as always, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. This episode is brought to you by WSN, the Wrestling Society Network. If you got Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, download the app and check out the app. Got a lot of cool wrestling content, wrestling cartoons, wrestling documentaries, wrestling movies. They created a wrestling promotion from the 2K game. That's WSN promotion, so that's pretty cool. They got a lot of cool stuff on there, so check that out. Also go to their website, thewrestlingsociety.com, where you can sign up for a free account there. Check out the wrestling content there. Go to the podcast room where you can check out podcasts like myself, WSN's Bear's Thoughts from Professor Bear, Samp and Chance, and a lot of other cool podcasts in the wrestling community. Also go to their Patreon page where you can join them for free. But if you want to get the exclusive stuff like the shows that you don't see on Facebook or YouTube, sign up for check out their membership options. They got something there for everybody. And our episode and all our episodes are sponsored by Dubby. Go to the website dubby.gg. Get you an energy blend mix. They got a lot of good flavors. I've had Dragonade. Dragonade was very, very good. Go to their website, check it out. You go to checkout, put in the code W313, and you get 10% off your order. So today, my guest is pulling the double duty because when he just got here, he just got done doing his podcast, which was live on YouTube, the ABJ Live, correct?
ABJ on air, yeah.
ABJ on air, yeah. Yep. That was he just got done doing that, talking about the tag team Demolition. Now he's done, and he's coming to join Wrestling from the 313, making his first appearance. ABJ, what up, though? How you doing?
I'm doing great. First off, I want to say, everyone from the 313, put your hands up and follow me. All right, I need subscribers. Also, I'm ABJ, definitely. And this is Mike D, and he gets respect. Your like and subscribe is what we expect. I was trying anything in there. You know, I'm a big Beastie Boys fan. But no, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I don't know how exactly on the interwebs we found each other, or you reached out and found me, but that's super cool because that means you're being seen and viewed, and we're connecting through the power of the internet. And it's all through the love of professional wrestling. So I'm very excited to get to know each other here tonight, and hopefully we get to chat with your chat, and some of my chat comes in, and we can make more fellowship with the love of professional wrestling.
Definitely. So if anybody that's watching right now, make sure if you wanted to leave a comment, ask us a question, you wanted to give a shout out or anything, leave a comment. And any of ABJ's subscribers or followers that's watching, want to give a shout out to you guys as well. And yeah, let's get to it.
So do you know how every group has like their community name? You know that? Like, so ours is the Cult of ABJ. I like the dark occulty stuff and the spooky. I don't believe in any of it, but I think it's funny. I like horror movies and dark humor. So that's kind of what we lean into, is we're the Cult of ABJ, and we're just all beautifully damaged. That's kind of how we all I don't play a cult leader. I just think it's funny. So that's kind of our community. I'm rocking it here today. So hopefully our Cult of ABJ shows up. in troves tonight and supports.
That's what's up. Shout out to the Cult of ABJ as well. So for people who are just getting introduced to you, just tell people a little bit about who ABJ is.
So I am a content creator, professional wrestling personality, which is kind of cool to say. I got into the content space about 8 years ago, and I started with interviewing people who were just chasing their dreams or had stories to tell. I have one grandparent left. I'm very rooted in where I come from and history, and not forgetting where you come from and learning from the past and stuff like that. So I'm very into that. I have both of my grandparents on this arm. She's the only grandparent I have left right here, and then me and my other grandmother on this arm. But she's getting up there in age. So I was like, man, I want to record something, because I was watching this content, and it was like, man, when people pass away, not to get dark or anything like that, but when people pass away, the first thing that we forget is someone's voice. Throughout the history of time until recently, everything's been photos. Video hasn't really been a thing until we got better phones and cameras, and now video is like a predominant thing. But there's a lot of people in the past who don't have any of that audio of their loved ones. And you could think and maybe have an idea of what their voice sounds like, but your brain is consuming so much information on a consistent basis that some stuff just goes away. And when someone's gone for so long, that's something that disappears. So I sat down with my gram and I interviewed her about her life and how she met my grandfather and how she had her family and all that stuff, and how she traveled all over the world. And I was like, man, I want to do that more. I want to interview more people. I want to interview musicians. I want to interview artists and stuff like that. So then we started doing that. I started doing like pop culture, horror movies, beer content, a whole bunch of stuff. And then I was like, when I was a kid, man, I was really into pro wrestling. It would be fun if I got back into it again, completely cold, have no idea what's going on. And I started watching wrestling, and we started talking that. And then I started getting invited to local independent wrestling shows. And they're like, man, you're really funny. You have good energy, the way you're doing things. Would you like to come and do backstage interviews? And I was like, I don't wear dresses. Yeah, I don't wear dresses. But I mean, if you're paying enough, I'll give it a shot. But I don't wear like suits and ties. I'm not a suit and tie guy. I'm not like a polo guy. So if you are cool with me showing up just as me, and you book me for me, and you just let me be authentically me, I'm in. That's just my only caveat. And I went from backstage interviews to helping production teams with bringing the equipment that I use for my content. I've done editing and all that stuff for some pretty cool companies. I've done full shows that have been edited and produced and put on IWTV and Triller TV and stuff like that. And then I got into the commentary space where I do commentary. I got to help out with meet and greets with a bunch of talent. I've done meet and greets. I've hosted conventions. So I've done a lot of crazy things in this business. And I still don't know how I was able to do any of it. I just fake and make it. Oh, Lehigh Valley, another Pennsylvania boys. I love that. We're the 570 up in the 313. But yeah, I just been authentically me and have fun, and I don't change for anybody. And I just go and talk about the things I'm passionate about. And predominantly that is professional wrestling, and it has succumbed to me and has been a huge part of my life. And I just make content, and I go to wrestling shows, and I have a really good time.
That's what's up. Hey, I feel you. Yeah, when I started, and we talked about this before we went on air, I've been doing this. I think it'll be 3 years, either next week on the 23rd. Yeah, it'll be 3 years since I've been doing this podcast. And I always told myself, like, I'm not about to be a wrestler. I'm not about to get in the ring and get slammed or dropped on my head or anything like that. But I can I can try this podcasting out. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a hell of a ride, man. I've been able to meet so many cool people outside of Michigan, outside of the country, and it's been a real good journey. So I'm hoping that I can keep doing this. Just keep shining in the wrestling community. That's all. Just doing my part and just bringing good interviews. That's all.
I would really recommend diving into your local scene. That's where it's at. That's where you're going to find and make the most connections. It is fine to chase the TV wrestling, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm also very punk rock mentality where I like grassroots. I like the dive bars. I don't like to be in places that are fancy that you got to put your pinkies up. I like grime, filth, dirt. struggle. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I thrive. And the independent shows are where that's at, where people are just going through. Like I love the fact that I've gone to independent wrestling shows and worked with people who are now on TV. Like I have friends who are on TV. I have friends who have become champions on TV. I have worked with people on the circuit that used to be on TV, then left and then came back. Like it's fun. Actually, where these guys are from, the Brother Destruction, Lehigh Valley, they have a show called LVAC shows. They are so much fun. They're so fun. They're so much good. They're such a good time. I believe they're on IWTV. You can watch them all. I recommend them. They're awesome. But anyway, that's my recommendation is just don't quit. Like it's going to suck for a while and it's going to be like, oh man, why do I do this? But just don't get into the numbers. Don't get in, just do it because you love it. Because the second you start doing it because you're chasing numbers or all that stuff, it doesn't become fun anymore. And don't do that. I promise it's not worth, the lemon's not worth the squeeze, as they say. But yeah, I was the same way. I was like, I'm not getting in the ring. I've been in the ring twice now. I got in for a tag team championship match. I was brought in through a company called High Tension Wrestling. I've been trying to be part of that company for years. The owner wouldn't let me in, even though he's my best friend. So I had to come in through the means of a heel stable. They're called the Wild LLC. And they brought me in they owned the company. They got the rights to the company, brought me in as the commentator. And then they were in a tag team championship match and everyone got hurt. So they called me up off commentary because I'm a member of their team. I took 2 chops and I just dipped. I got out of there. It wasn't for me. We lost the tag team championships. That may have been on my bad. I didn't stick around, but I got hit by 2 pretty big guys, and that was enough for me. And then recently, I was at a show in my hometown, and they put me in the battle royal for the #1 contendership. I did pull down the top rope, eliminated a guy, and then I realized I was in there with like 15 other people. And then I got out and then just went to commentary. That was enough for me. I had an elimination. I am now a ring veteran. So not just a content creator. You know, I've been in the ring. I've blood, sweat, and tears. I'm a ring vet. So if you need any advice on wrestling as a veteran, I can help out your content, you know.
So so I know you said you had the matches where you wrestled. Did you ever like do any real wrestling training?
No. I mean, I went to training once or twice. I went to a couple trainings. I go to seminars. I go to trainings. If companies are willing to like I don't pay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't pay for wrestling school. I'm not there for that aspect. But I, as a commentator and as a person who does production and I'm involved in wrestling, I do want to go in there and learn to better educate myself so I can be better for the business. Because if I want to be good at what I want to do, but also stay true to who I am as an artist, I should learn. So I have gone to wrestling schools. I have gone to trainings and stuff. I've taken a couple bumps. It sucks. It's not for me. I don't do that. I usually just go and I'll do like the workout aspect for it, but then I leave immediately, or I just kind of hang out and watch. And sometimes wrestling schools ask me to come in and teach their students the social media aspect, or they want someone from a commentator standpoint to help a younger kid or younger student on the ring psychology aspect, or what makes a good match, or how you tell a storyline. And I've been very fortunate enough that wrestling companies respect me enough to give that advice or let me be part. I'm part of a creative team on some companies in the past too, which is wild because like not many content people get that access to wrestling companies, and I don't take that for granted whatsoever. So I've kind of proven myself to the right people, and I've been having a blast with it ever since.
That's what's up. What's up. So your bio on your Facebook page says real talk, no gimmicks, community first.
Yeah.
Where did that mindset come from?
I think there's a lot of people online who just chase what they think is what they need to do to get popular on the internet or get famous or get quick subscribers or get quick things. So everyone has, and there's nothing wrong with a gimmick. Listen, I love gimmicks. I'm a pro wrestling fan. A good gimmick is fun. Right. But like, if you're not doing a gimmick in that aspect, I think just if you're trying to be a content creator and your whole idea is to be a gimmick, cool. But I think people are trying to present themselves as real, but also playing a gimmick and then being what they think people should like. And I just not for me. I know that stunts my growth. And sometimes that's not the best thing for everybody, but that's what I want to be. I'm about building a foundation of brick by brick. And if you cheap out and go the shortcut routes on your foundation, by the time you do grow, you're not built for the future. You're not built for the long term because you built your house on shitty foundation and it's going to come crashing down. So you need to go through the struggles. You need to understand what it's like to lay that brick by brick by brick. And then once you have a strong foundation, you can change a window or a door here and there because your foundation's strong. But if you try to just rush too fast to get up, you're probably not going to be around much longer because you didn't start off with the right way. So that's just my thing. I want to be authentic. I don't want to like sugarcoat shit with people or do any of that. I'm just authentically me, and either you love it or you hate it, and we'll find out right away if I'm your guy or not. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm very open of what I stand for morally. I don't shadow my morals to make other people comfortable. And that sometimes gets me in trouble. And I know when you hear that from a white dude with a bandana and long hair, you might think that I am probably a red hat wearing dude. I am the exact, I have you heard earlier, I'm a punk rocker at heart. So I am a man of the people. I'm a very cultured, what my friends have said, I'm a very seasoned white guy. White people don't eat a lot of seasoning. I'm very cultured. I'm a man of the people. I'm Dusty. I'm a Dusty Rhodes. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just kind of how I always wanted to be. And I try to represent everybody the best I can and make sure everyone has a fair shot at life.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hey man, real quick, I got to give a shout out to the Cult of ABJ.
We're here.
Everybody is showing up and showing out. They leaving comments. They, people in the chat, they chatting with each other. And shout out to the brothers of this discussion podcast. They've been on my show. I've been on theirs. Real cool dudes.
We need a three-way collaboration.
They from your area too. So if you ever get a chance, connect with them. Maybe you can go on their show or, vice versa or something. I'm
open to it. Anyone's welcome to come. And when I do my on airs, that's just an open forum. That's not like a podcast forum. So if you see me on air and I'm doing a watch along for a Dynamite and you want to pop in, shoot me a DM. I'll shoot you a link. You can come up and promote your stuff. That's an open forum where people can come on and collab and hang out and talk. So any content creators out there, I'm always open.
That's what's up. So we see you got the Cult of ABJ shirt on. What inspired you to build what people are calling the Cult of ABJ, and what does that community mean to you?
It means everything. In my lowest times, in the part of my struggles of chasing this content to the point where I've lost relationships, I've lost friendships, I've lost everything. It costs a lot to do this and to travel and to live that life of a struggling artist. And my community's always been there. And it hasn't even been on like a monetary level. I don't ask for money for people. If people want to buy a t-shirt, if people want to subscribe, if they want to put their money out there, it's fine, but it's not mandatory. My community is a place where, once again, I don't care if you're black, white, brown, green, purple, gay, straight, lesbian, trans, everyone's welcome. And if you're there because your art is professional, you love the art of professional wrestling or horror or pop culture or comic books or nerdy stuff or video games, please come hang out. And we're not just there for our love of what we do. We're there for the love of each other. If you're going through it, man, and you need someone to talk to, my community is a spot where you can just be like, yo, because I want to go on the voice chat and sit and hang out with me. And people are in there till 3, 4 in the morning just hanging out, chatting. And we've had people go through some serious stuff and some serious struggles, or even just being proud of themselves, of going like, man, I had a really cool accomplishment. And we're just there for each other. It's a family. And that's exactly what we're about. And every day we grow, and I'm very proud of, those people. Some of those people have been through me from thick and thin, and we just continue to grow and thrive and support one another. And there's a lot of other content creators in there, and I open my doors to I have told other content creators that you can come in there and hang out and do what you got to do. But if you come in there just to spam your stuff all day long, you'll probably get removed. I'm going to be honest. Like, you got to give the energy back to the community and get to know people and chat with people. There's this live stream content creator. I don't care. I'm not here to hurt side people. His name's Big Nick. He's part of like the wrestling. He just spams his shit everywhere. You make a community, he shows up and he just drops all of his garbage in there. And you're like, hey man, can you like interact with people, talk to people? He doesn't care. He just wants you to join his live stream so he can get numbers. I don't care. But it's not my thing. So if you come in there and you hang out with people and get to know them, they're great people and they will support you back. But if you come in there just trying to spam, they'll sniff it out and they'll probably get you out of there quick.
Yeah, I can tell. I'm looking at the comments now, and the Cult of ABJ is definitely here. They definitely showing you support today.
Yeah, and I mean they're from all over. I will be honest. out of the chat right now, there's only one local person to me there right now. Everyone else is from all over the globe. I got people from Australia. Like one of my listeners from the cult literally paid for me to go to Wembley to see the first All In. Right out, like after my divorce, I had no money. I didn't have a pot to piss in. I was living back at home, and he was like, "Yo, plane tickets there. Jump on a plane to Philly and come to London. I'll meet you there from Australia, and we'll hang out for a week in London and go see wrestling." Wow. And I met someone that we just talked to over the computer for 3 years, and we met in Wembley Stadium, and we had a blast in London. So like that's just the power of this community, and we're there for each other.
Yeah, and I think this not just the power of your community, but I think that's just the power of the wrestling community in general. Like I think it kind of gets a bad rep as being toxic and stuff like that, and that stuff is always talked about, but there's a lot of good things that happen within the wrestling community. And I think a lot of that doesn't get talked about a lot. We always talking about, you know, these brand wars, these people be having, you got WWE fans against AEW fans and just the bashing of the wrestlers and stuff like that. You know, we see and hear so much of that we don't get a chance to celebrate the good stuff that happens within the IWC.
Yeah. I mean, we have that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. There's times in our community where it gets brand toxic, but I will be honest, it mostly comes from, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, but it mostly comes from when WWE people come in and say, my company is better than your company and your company sucks. And then it's people defending their company. But for the most part, most of our community, I will say we're very AEW heavy because we're also independent heavy, and AEW supports the independent scene more than WWE does. So we more lean that way. But if you like WWE, enjoy it. I'm not here to tell you what to watch and what to watch. I'm just telling you, if you don't like a certain brand, don't force yourself to watch it because it's the Coca-Cola of pro wrestling. If there's so much out there that you can watch any day of the week, or turn on a YouTube channel, or turn on a IWTV or a Thriller TV and watch anything. There's so much wrestling out there, and you can watch it from any part of the world, and it's at your fingertips. You're not stuck watching something because it's everything else that everybody else is watching.
That's what's up. We got a comment from Bios Yoshi Bar. He said the code is 100% a family. I'm more open with them than anyone blood related. That's
So Bios Joshi they're from the Kansas area, and they're also huge Joshi fans. So they watch a lot of Japanese women wrestling. Okay. So once again, if you come to our cult and you're like, well, I don't know much about that, they will point you in the right direction and get you where you need to be and show you what you should be watching and keep you up to date with all of it. Like they showed me this one, I'm going to mess it up and I'm really sorry, but it's just like this company in Japan where they wrestle in a basement. Now, when I say a basement, the size of the room behind me, and it has a little cutout window, and they have mats on the floor with no ring, and people just sit in chairs. And some of the biggest names in the world go and wrestle in this basement, and they wrestle in no ring shows. It's awesome. It's so much fun. It's like, yeah, it's. I think more people look at wrestling and they don't understand, like, it's more of an art form than you'd think. I think people get kind of stuck in that WWE mind state where, like, this is what wrestling should be, and it's not. WWE is kind of like the corporate McDonald's version of a hamburger version of pro wrestling. And even if you work at McDonald's and you're a 5-star chef, you have to make the burger they want you to make. You can't put anything else on that McDonald's burger. You have to do it exactly the way they do it, and they kind of ruin and stifle your creativity. And these other places allow you to put more onto your burger. They let you be the chef, and I kind of tend to grab more of that aspect of wrestling, is where people are more open to being who they want to be in professional wrestling.
That's what's up. We got another question from Bio Yoshi.
Choka Pro. That's the Choka Pro. That's what we're talking about in the basement.
Okay.
It is on my list to watch a Choka Pro show. I'm actually subscribed. I just got in the mail today. My posters from Mystery Wrestling. So I will be watching the Mystery Wrestling show that they did at Choka Pro.
That's what's up. And Nate Heater 4919, he said, you are the reason why he's in the wrestling business as much as he is, and he's thankful
Yeah, Nate is a magician in our local area who comes to a bar that we all hang out at. It's like a wrestling themed bar where they have like a little punk shows and wrestling shows. They do no ring shows in their bar, so it's kind of like that Choco Pro where it's tiny. They put mats on the ground sometimes, and they just do. Well, actually, we'll be doing one Friday night, which I think I'll be live streaming on my channels for you guys to all hang out. But you'll actually hear Nate on commentary. Nate's somebody I brought to shows, and I was like, "Yo, give this guy a shot at ring announcing," because there's shows that sometimes the companies want me to be a ring announcer and a commentator, and that's tough on your voice. Like because I don't go in there and half-ass it. I go full voice. I go hard, and by the end of the show, I can't talk. So I was like, Nate, jump in there and do ring announcing. So I got him in there to do some ring announcing. I taught him how to do it. He's training with some people, and then I just try to get the people. Like if your passion is this industry, I'll try to, or anything, I will try to connect you with the right people so you can chase your dreams.
That's what's up. So I know you said that you done ring announcing and commentary. What are some of the things that when you are practicing or training to be a announcer or commentator, what are some of the key things that they teach you?
I have not been formally trained or taught anything. What I will say is I'm not saying that's the best advice or the best way to go. I'm very fake it till you make it improv, and people will kind of just see who I am and see my energy, and they're like, you are what we like, do what you do, and that's what we're like, that's why you're here. And I cannot express how thankful I am of that, where I don't go to a spot where like they try to change who I am or change what I am and it doesn't feel authentic. So I kind of just learn as I go. The big thing is just with ring announcing. I also used to struggle growing up with a speech impediment as well as a stutter that I have taught myself to grow out of. But sometimes ring announcing, and so another thing too, I'm actually very introverted, and I force myself to be extroverted because this is the industry I want to be in. So sometimes ring announcing, I do get some stage fright. Like my first time I ever did it, I mentally blacked out. I don't remember any of the show. I went in, I did ring announcing, and I just remember like I got in the ring and everything just turned off. And I did the whole show, and then I sat down for the main event, and I did all I had to do was do the winner, and that's when I kind of snapped back in, and then like kind of like felt like the lights turned back on, and I looked around, I was like, "Is this the main event?" And they're like, "Yeah," and like I didn't tell anybody, but I don't remember any of that show. It just I went autopilot mode. I don't know if I was good or not, but everyone seemed to like it. But like I got immense stage fright. I was working in Philadelphia for the first time. Philadelphia's a big wrestling town. It was a company I was very proud of being a part of, and it freaked me out. It freaked me the hell out. And I just kind of, like I said, fake it till I make it. But getting wrestlers' names wrong is a problem for me sometimes. So I just do the Bobby Heenan move on commentary in ring announcing, where sometimes I just pick a wrestler and purposely say their name wrong. So then if I actually get a name wrong, it looks like it's part of the bit. And then I expect the wrestler to give me shit for it, and then we can have our banter and our interaction, and the crowd loves it, and we keep moving, and then I remember for the next show. People are going to make mistakes. It's independent wrestling. Don't put yourself on a pedestal that you have to be absolutely perfect. Go in there and suck. If you're perfect every show, you don't learn anything. If you go in there and you hit home runs every time, you don't know what it's like to run the first base. You gotta run the bases every now and then. You gotta stumble. You gotta fall. You gotta ground out. You gotta pop fly. You gotta go through all the motions of the game to get better at the game. If you're just hitting home runs every time you hit the plate, you're not learning anything. You're not experiencing anything. You're not going through the grind. Failure is your biggest accomplishment. Learn to love it.
Definitely work. Definitely some words of wisdom. Want to give a couple shout outs. Joe Monroe, what's going on? Good seeing you, brother.
I like Joe's gorillas art. I like that. I'm into that. I hope that's what they were going for. But if it is, your boy's seen it.
And hold on, we got another comment. Ted Gray, he said, can we all agree the introvert would be a great wrestling character? When the bell rings, they just go crazy.
Or just like Shy Ronnie. Do you ever watch the Lonely Island Shy Ronnie, where it's like Shy Ronnie and Rihanna, and it's just like Rihanna singing this amazing song, and she goes like, and Shy Ronnie, and then he starts rapping and goes, and he just can't project, and then everyone just walks away, and he's all alone, and he's like, and then I'm a gangster, and he starts screaming, and then people come back in the room, and he's like, I don't even know, and then he's all shy again. I think that'd be a funny character. Yeah.
We got
Ted
another
has
one.
my logo tattooed on his body, and I never met Ted. I never met Ted in my life. Ted is a supporter of supporters. I love him to death. He actually just bought some T-shirts off me, which I'm super excited for. So much love to Ted. Ted's a former pro soccer player too, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
That's the thing too. Most people have a community and they're just like, oh, that's a name in the chat. I get to know everyone in my community. I can literally do an episode on every name you pop up and give you a whole bio on all of them. Like, I take the time to learn my people. If you're taking time out of your busy day and life and schedule to support me and watch what I do, I'm going to take the time to learn about you. I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. So, when did you first fall in love with wrestling, and what made you want to be part of the business or culture?
So first time I fell in love, I have an older cousin, Jimmy, and my friend Billy growing up were huge wrestling fans. Billy had, back in the day, for you older people, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to age myself here, but then the younger people, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But we had the black box. Well, he had the black box, and that was a legal cable box that got all of the pay-per-views. So he would get this black box, and his dad would record every wrestling pay-per-view. So I would get the wrestling pay-per-views secondhand through him through tape trading, and that's how I watched pro wrestling growing up, where we would watch it together. His mom would babysit me, and I would look forward to getting babysat by his mom, or he would come over and get babysat by my mom, and he would come over with a trove of tapes, and we'd pop them in and just watch wrestling after wrestling, stuff that was even predating us, watching older stuff, newer stuff. And that's where I got into it. But the time that I audibly remember or visibly remember in my head was the first time I've seen the Rockers. First time I seen the Rockers come down, I was sold. I grew up, my dad was a DJ. He was into music. He was into all that stuff. And I was like, well, rock and roll is cool. And these guys are rock and roll guys, and they're pro wrestlers. So they're my new favorite team. And I was a Shawn guy from the start. I was that was my guy. I always liked the bad guys. I was never a Hulkamaniac. I was a Macho Man guy. I was a Piper guy. I was a Mr. Perfect guy. I was a Jake the Snake guy. Like, I liked the heels, which I was a weird kid. So I have a piece of hair in my mouth. The struggles of long hair. But I just, as long as I remember, and then, like I said, I just got into it. Like, growing up, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I was diagnosed in high school. I was very athletic. I played a lot of sports. I did everything I had to do. I played anything it could put me in. I was in very good shape. Soccer, basketball were my two favorites. I played a little football as well. I was the kicker and the punter because of soccer. But then I found out when I was 12, 13-ish that I have a joint disorder. I have called it Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where my body doesn't produce collagen, and I kind of have double joints, which is not good for sports, and it ruined my body, and it put me through a lot of pain, and I still to this day struggle from that. So me physically being in the ring, not smart, not good. I'm not taking bumps. I'm not putting my body through what I'm going through at this age. So I was like, well, I want to be a part of it. What's the best way I can do it? And your personality, your mind, you're like, I grow up, be something that you don't have to be physical. And that's where backstage and commentary and production and creative fill in. And I just have a fun time doing it.
That's what's up. So it's safe to say that, we the same age, because I grew up in around the time you started watching wrestling.
I'm an 86er. 40, I'll be 40 years old this year.
I'm 81, so I'll be 45 this year.
All right, we're there. We're there.
Yeah, so I grew up around that time watching, the Hogan, Macho Man, Piper, trying to stay up late to watch Saturday night's main event when they used to come on at 11:30 at night on NBC. And yeah, I'm one of them people that has seen all the eras, the rivalries, and seen it all, and it's just like.
Did you ever take a break from wrestling, or were you locked in the whole time?
You know what? I think it was one time. I think I was like around 11, like between the age of 10 and 13, and that was around the time when WWF just had like they characters was just Doink the Clown, Duke the Dumpster Droese.
Love that
what
era.
I'm saying? Something about wrestling, I just got connected from it. But then when
the steroid trial era, when no one was allowed to, where everybody was a character and they got away from the body guys.
Yeah. And then I think I kind of got back into it when my parents at first got cable, and then I was able to watch WCW. So then it was kind of like, okay, so now all these guys that are not in WWF no more, this is where they going. So, you know, that kind of got me interested. And then, you know, just I would hear about wrestlers like Sting and you know, I know Ric Flair was in WWF for a hot minute, but his roots was WCW and NWA. So just to kind of see the real Ric Flair, you know, Arn Anderson and guys like that, that kind of got me back into watching wrestling again. But definitely when Scott Hall went to WCW and that whole, he was planting the seeds for the NWO, that's what really got me back into it. And I've been watching it since then.
Yeah, I was very against WCW. When I was young, I was like, they left me. I'm not watching it. If I went to your house during the Monday Night Wars and you were switching back and forth, I would leave. I would go home. Don't switch over to that garbage. I want to watch my WWE. Like, I was upset by it. But I love the video games. I was an N64 No Mercy versus WCW versus NWO World Tour, WCW versus NWO Revenge. They were my games. But the high school, I fell in love with. So I went to a party from my older cousin's house. My older cousin Brian, he may not know this, but he has been huge with me when it comes to like being a catalyst for what I'm into at certain points in times. My music, my pop culture, everything. He's been a huge advocate for a lot of that. I always just thought he was so cool. He had a cool look and he looked very rocker, but he was like Rob Zombie to me before Rob Zombie. But because he had the long hair, he didn't care. He was very like, he beat to his own drum. But I went to his house and they had a UFC pay-per-view on. And I had no idea what UFC was. And I watched Tito Ortiz versus Ken Shamrock 1. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, it's kind of like the wrestling stuff you watch, but this is real. Because like growing up, you have everyone who wants to kind of ruin wrestling for you. You know it's fake, right? And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care it is. Like, leave me alone. I'm having fun. I don't make fun of Jesus. Leave me alone. I like wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, religious people. But like, so I went there and I watched it and I was like, oh, there's a lot of fun shit here. I like this UFC, and I was hooked. And this is before UFC was on television, before UFC was anything. And then I started buying every UFC pay-per-view, and I was hooked at UFC since like UFC 37. I don't even know what they're up to now. I kind of stopped watching it when I went back to wrestling, and I didn't watch high school wrestling, like pro wrestling at all. And I didn't get back into it until like my 30s. So like I missed the whole Ruthless Aggression. I missed the whole like early stages of the modern era. I got back into wrestling because wrestling fans are like, yo, you would love these two guys and you should watch them, especially the way that we used to love wrestling. And I tuned in to watch CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. And I tuned in and watched them at a Royal Rumble, and they were both gone a week later. And I was like, well, now what do I watch? The two guys that you told me to watch are no longer a part of the company. So I kind of stuck around. And then I started the content. And that was the time that AEW was about to kick off. And at that time, I fell in love with the indie scene. And I was like, this is like fun. Like, and then I started learning about all the old school history of independent wrestling scene with Chikaras and the CZWs and the like old ROH. And then I got into NXT Black. Like, even when I was watching stuff for content, I didn't really like WWE. I was like, this is kind of Sesame Street. I'm not really into it. This is like the corporate version of pro wrestling, and everything else is kind of like the fun stuff. So like I was an NXT Black and Gold guy. I was a Lucha Underground guy. I loved all of that stuff. And that's kind of where I've just been ever since, is just stuck back in it. But yeah, there's a whole era that I missed that I still go back and watch and play catch up with.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hey, anytime somebody mentioned the black and gold era of NXT, man, that was like that. You had all the ring of honor stars, you had all the independent stars, the TNA stars, and they found a way to make these guys just work in this developmental brand, which I wouldn't say it was developmental at that point. They were developed. They just weren't allowed to work they were allowed to not work the WWE system, because if you know, when you get to the main roster, once again, you're only allowed to make the hamburger one way. You're not allowed to, unless you get like enough clout or enough stuff or creative freedom that you can do a little something out of the box. You have to stay within the confines of their style. And if you don't do their style, you got in trouble. NXT, there was like, no, do you. And it was so much better to watch. Yeah, I definitely agree. What do you think about the current product, the current NXT product now? Or do you keep up with it?
From what I've watched, the men's side of things bores the piss out of me. For
Yes.
some, but there is some people that I like. Like I like Ethan Page. I'm a huge fan of him. I couldn't even tell you who else is there right now, to be completely honest. But I think they have a really, really strong upcoming women's division.
Yep.
I think the NXT women's division can low key be one of the best women's divisions in pro wrestling when they get there.
Yep.
I think they're really good.
I totally agree, and that's what I've been saying that about the men's division ever since they called up Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. I just been kind of like, the men's division in NXT is kind of green. Outside of, like you said, outside of Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Joe Hendry.
And Joe and Ricky don't do it for me, unfortunately. So they're just not. And like I love Javon. I've watched Javon on the independent scene. I like Oba. I don't know if I like Oba the same way everybody else likes Oba. And I like Trick, but I don't like what they're doing with Trick now. They're making him Booker T 2.0, and I don't like that. I'll be that guy. I don't trust black talent on the main roster in WWE. I see really strong black wrestlers in that company, and I think they get used to a certain level, and then once they hit their glass ceiling, they're not allowed to go any higher. And because it's WWE treats wrestling like a good old boy sport. Like I generally have I love them as talent, but I just know in that structure they're only going to get hit. They're only going to go so high, and then they're not going to be your Romans and your Codys and your John Cenas, and they'll get a little shine for a little bit, but then someone's going to come in and use them as a stepping stone. So like I want to root for those talents, but it's just like that company historically has told me you shouldn't believe the hype with them, because we're not gonna let them get to that next level.
Yeah, and I'm really, really hoping that they do not drop the ball with Trick Williams and Obafemi. The way that they have been pushing these guys, like Trick Williams is all over, like almost every podcast, every radio station. He's been on First Take, I think 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they kind of doing the same thing. I kind of and I agree with what you said about Trick. I kind of look at him as like the modern day Booker T or The Rock a little bit. I see a combination of him, and then for Obafemi, I see a combination of like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Now here's a question for you, coming from the white guy. All right. Do you feel that black culture is represented in the WWE, or do you think they either underdo it or try to overdo it?
You know what? I think on the women's side, I think they push black women more than they push black men.
Agreed.
I will say that, because look at what they did with, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair were the first 2 black women in main event WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying?
I think Jade feels not Jade. Oh shit. Well, she was horrible in NXT, and then she got really good. With Nia Jax right now.
Lash Legend.
She seems authentic. That seems like a black woman to me. Like I look at the WWE writing room and I see a bunch of out of date white dudes trying to tell black guys how to play a character, and it just like I look at Trick Williams and I'm like, that to me, he's playing what a white dude thinks a black guy should be.
Yeah. But you know what? The one thing he definitely has the crowd behind him, and I didn't think he had the crowd behind him.
Yeah. He's talented, and they're there because they don't want to admit it, but there's a lot of culture that supports that brand, and it's about time they have representation. NXT for a long time, their top 4 guys were all black guys, and that doesn't happen very often in pro wrestling. Representation of cultures is not a thing, and NXT did a good job of doing that. So they all followed they're the first batch that I feel like really was followed from NXT to the main roster, and they've carried over because of it. Because shockingly, representation is important in pro wrestling, so lean into it. Javon, I think, is authentic, but I think even like Javon, like I don't think much has changed. He's still the same Javon Evans from the independent scene to who he is now. I like Javon. I just think they're trying to make him the next Kofi. Like, no one can be the next version of themselves. They have to like follow in somebody else's footsteps.
Yeah. I would definitely say that they push the women more than they do the men. Like I said, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Lash Legend.
But Naomi had to leave to get that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's true. But and I think WWE is trying to change that because they have got bad publicity about that that they don't push black men to as high as they would do other wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. And if you're Spanish, you're going to be in a stable together for 6 months. Like,
yeah, like the LWO. Like, it was like after a while, it ran its course. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and
we got an overabundance of Asians, Spanish, and blacks. Stable them up.
Yeah.
What? Why? The Hurt Business got too big one time because they're just like, we don't know what to do with these 6 black guys, so put them in a stable together. Like, no, you can make them singles, guys. You have Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley and don't know what to do with them. Shame on you.
Yeah. And then I kind of feel like and I'm not gonna say that with AEW because Swerve Strickland was the world champion. Scorpio Sky was the TNT champion and tag champion. But like you said, with the Hurt Syndicate, like there's no way in the world that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin should have came in as a tag team.
The problem with AEW, and I'm not making excuses, but I'll be honest, I agree with you. If you put the world title on Bobby Lashley, AEW has a size problem.
Yeah,
and if they start letting the big guys like the Brian Cages, the Bobby Lashleys, the Shelton Benjamins, the Lance Archers win world titles, how do you visibly beat them? Like they're probably trying to move to like a Darby Allin world title run. So like bigger guys are just kind of there as they have a problem booking big men. Because they tend to book smaller independent guys. Yeah, Kevin Knight, the brand new TNT championship. Shout out to him. My boy, I want my boy to get another championship in Speedball Mike Bailey. That's my homie. Shout out to him. But man, I think I don't think it's a culture problem in NWA or AEW. I think it's a size problem. I think a lot of their top guys are not typically your bigger size, and then the bigger guys kind of get pushed back because it's like Bobby and Shelton should have never lost. And probably if they got injured, we don't know what they would be. But like the second they come back, you're like, oh boy, what do we do with them? You know what I mean? Like, because they visibly look like they kill everybody.
And then I know a couple of weeks ago I was watching was it Collision, and it looks like that they about to start adding members to the Hurt Syndicate, which I think they should have did in the first place when they first got there or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see who they add to the group. Yeah. Real quick, who you got anybody in mind that they should add to the group?
I always say Cedric if he's available, Cedric Alexander, just because he was part of it in the WWE standpoint. And I think he's a good young man, like a young black talent that can learn from the veterans to take that next level. So I'm always going to say Cedric. Kevin Knight would be a fun one if they do the whole thing where Kevin and Speedball split up. Kevin kind of go joins. But I honestly, like, I think the Hurt Syndicate in AEW feels more authentic than it did as the Hurt Business in WWE. Where, like, once again, a bunch of white writers are trying to write a stable where now they're like, no, be your culture, do what you got to do. And they feel more real to me over there. I was liking the Ricochet bit when he was there because he kind of reminded me of almost like The Rock in the Nation of Domination, where he was like too proud to be them. And then they kind of played into like, well, they're darker and he's a lighter skinned guy. You know what I mean? Like, get at it. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, you know. White culture doesn't understand that. No, I don't know. It's fun. MJF was in the group. He was the Owen Hart for a little bit. That's right. That's what MJF. Never mind. Never mind. I almost said some shit on your show that I shouldn't be saying. Like, never mind.
It's all good.
Zip it.
You know, but it's a tag team that I think will be good for the Hurt Syndicate, and they would definitely have to go through like a character change. But I think Private Party would be good for the Hurt Syndicate.
I love her.
If you turn them heel, had them come out with the suits and the sunglasses and stuff like that. I always looked at Private Party as like AEW's version of the Street Profits.
Yeah, but they've been that team for a minute. So like they're House of Glory kids. So I've never personally worked with Private Party, but I have friends who are House of Glory kids. and they're directly connected to them through that. So I have like a friend through a friend of them, and I've never heard anything negative about those kids. They're good kids. They work super hard. So I've always been a fan. Anyone who comes out of House of Glory, I'm a fan of, and Private Party is one of those teams.
That's what's up. So how important is social media and building a personal brand in wrestling today compared to just in-ring talent? It's
super important, and I hate it. I wish I could delete all social media and not have to post on it, but it's part of the game. You have to do it. I'm actually trying to help talent more with their social media presence and get themselves out there, because a lot of these talent don't like doing that aspect, and they're super talented, and they turn around after 10 years or 5 years and like, yo, why am I not getting opportunities? And I say, well, you're not traveling out of your bubble of the 5-10 minutes of your house to work, or you're not putting yourself out there on social media to be seen. It only takes one video to go viral for you to be the next Luigi Primo, for you to be Milo Mira, to be the next to do something interesting that people are like, I want to book you all over the place now. So actually, I'm going to send you something real quick that if you want to put in here while I'm talking, that would be cool, because it kind of segues into this. But I'm actually creating something for my brand that is coming soon to help talent when it comes to this aspect. I'm creating the ABJ Social Media Championship. It already has been approved by a few companies that we're allowed to do. I don't know if you're doing it on your phone or a computer. If it's too much work, don't worry about it. But I can show it off my phone on the screen if need be. So essentially what I'm creating, this is just very prototype era. So don't judge it too much, but it's gorgeous. But there is the early versions of the belt.
Sweet.
But it's gonna be a title. It looks like a computer chip. But it will be the ABJ Social Media Championship. It'll be defended on shows. But once it's no longer in front of the crowd, it is a 24/7 championship, because social media never sleeps. And that's where we're going to film content on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with the champion and other people in the local scene to me, for you to follow along and watch the progression of this title to see who has it, who doesn't has it, how do they get developed, do they have like a crazy street fight, is there a match that maybe you guys didn't see because it happened before the show happened, it happened after the show happened. There's a lot of cool things where it could be there, and I'm going to use my brand to give this championship that I'm putting my money into to give opportunity to more talent for them to be seen, and like just do 5-minute matches that can be put on TikTok or a YouTube video, or you know what I mean, like that, where it gets put out there for people to enjoy.
That's what's up.
And then it grows my brand as well. So it's a give and take for both people.
Yeah. So you kind of took the idea from the hardcore championship from the Attitude Era and the 24/7 championship.
I took a little bit of that. I took a little of the digital media aspect from TNA, and I kind of combined it into one. And I'm trying to do it for the aspect of for social media for wrestlers to be seen more.
That's what's up. So it could be like y'all could be coming up with a scenario where the champion sitting just at a restaurant with his belt, and then somebody just pop up out of nowhere, just bam, and then just have a wrestling match.
Yep. You never know where it's going to happen. I like shtick. I like filming stuff. My early days of getting into the wrestling business, I worked at a company called Camp Leapfrog, at a high tension wrestling network. Please search it out. Look it up. It's amazing. Camp Leapfrog. It was very gimmicky. Remember the TV show Salute Your Shorts? On
Nickelodeon, yeah.
So it's Salute Your Shorts, but it's instead of a summer camp, it's a pro wrestling summer camp. So these wrestlers come to summer camp and they spend the night. They have a season where they're there, and in the midst of like, hey, this happened. Now we need to go to the ring and settle it. Like, it's kind of like that. So it's these skits and these funny bits and stuff. We had a whole wrestling themed Halloween show. We had a show that was based on kind of like the WandaVision at the time, except they had a universal remote control that can take you back to any time frame or any time of wrestling and wrestle in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. And we did different style matches based on the era. So we had old school black and white 50s silent film matches. We had ECW style matches with the static, and we did movie style matches where you change a channel and it turned into a skit from the movie Friday. There's a lot of fun things that happened, and we did hokey comedy, but put good spins of wrestling on it. And some of those matches have people you've seen on television. Wheeler Yuta's on a match, War Horse is on a match. I believe Speedball might be on one, but like Maxie and Paler is on there. Like a lot of names who you've seen come and go. During the pandemic, we had nowhere to perform, so we kind of all showed up at a private, undisclosed location and filmed for 2 or 3 years in front of no fans and just put it on the internet for people to enjoy. And it was a special time of wrestling that inspired me to be more fun. And that's what I want to try to recreate with the social media championship, of letting talent have creative freedom to have matches that may not even be inside of a wrestling ring. Like we could have it in the streets, we could have it here, we could have it there, and have fun stipulations. So the title may not even be defended in a wrestling aspect. It could be something fun and creative of whatever everyone gets together and collaborates on. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait for people to enjoy it.
That's what's up. Yeah, because I just forgot what I was about to say.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
Oh no, it's all good. I had it right. I had what I was about to say. If it come back to me, I'll bring it up. But next question is, what separates someone who wants to make it in wrestling from someone who actually does?
Work ethic and humbleness. But this can also go both ways. This is a very double-edged sword. You could be super lazy, but just think super highly of yourself and still make it. It happens. But the work ethic always is the biggest thing. Sometimes you got to travel. I know it's tough, but you got to get in your car and you got to drive 6 hours to a show and drive 6 hours home, or sleep in your car on the way there. Because if you just work within a 5-mile bubble of your house, that's what I'm doing right now, but that's fine because I'm using social media. So I'm trying to get out there more on a global brand. I don't need to travel very far to do it. But the aspect of traveling is huge. You got to be able to work, and you got to work the shitty shows to get to the bigger shows. You got to work your way up. And if you try to just work within the 5-mile radius of your house and think I'm good enough to be the top guy here and the rest of the world's going to come see me, you're wrong. It's never going to happen unless you're pushing the social media, unless you're pushing and putting that work ethic, and be humble. You have to realize just because you're the big guy in the bingo hall of 200 people does not mean you're big in professional wrestling. Somebody from the 313 has no idea you exist. You are a drop of sand in a zoomed out Google map. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're big in front of 15 people in this small little bingo hall does not mean on a grand scheme of things you're big, unless you have someone with a social media presence that can put you out to bigger audiences so you can be seen all over the world by the Cult of ABJ. But that's where content creators are important to the local wrestling scene. And every time I meet a content creator, I tell them, go to shows. Support those shows, because you don't realize how powerful you are as a content creator, as a wrestling journalist, to help get eyes on more people. The greatest moment in professional wrestling, in my personal opinion, is the Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman bit, where Andy Kaufman came from Hollywood and worked Jerry the King Lawler, and it transcended professional wrestling and got it to a bigger level. I think it's bigger than the Hulkamania movement. I think it's bigger than WrestleMania. I think the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler was massive. And that doesn't happen without Bill Apter. If Bill Apter doesn't get involved, who was a wrestling magazine columnist who went around and took pictures and made a magazine called Pro Wrestling Illustrated and put himself out there and wrote the Apter files, we don't hear about a lot of wrestling because it was the territory days. We are still very much in the territory days. The independent wrestling scene is a territory. And when it comes to getting more people's eyes out there, you as the fans, us as podcasters, you need to push your favorites and talk about them and get out there and use your platforms to help these people grow. Because sometimes they need that push, they need that growth, and they need that support. And we are an untapped resource but the problem is there's a lot of really shitty people in this industry. So a lot of the good ones they're not taken seriously, but we are key to helping the next people get to that next level when it comes to our platforms and talking about them.
Definitely. And I just remember what I wanted to say. Just to piggyback, you talking about the independents. It is definitely very, very important to support your local independent shows. And it's just like you said, like, you want to be that person that watch wrestlers in the independents and then to see them in the pros. You know what I'm saying?
You know who that is for me? Ace Austin. Austin grew up 15-20 minutes from me, and I've watched him his whole career, and now he was the X Division champion. Now he signed to AEW, and he's an ROH killing it. Well, I've known Ace since he's young.
Cool. Cool.
Called a lot of Ace Austin matches. Like, he's our local dude. Tony Deppen from ROH was another one for a while. He was a former ROH, I think, TV champion. He's the bar I drink at all the time. When I go to that wrestling bar, that's part owned by Tony Deppen, a pro wrestler. We have some people who made some cool stuff from our area that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, and then that's Pennsylvania, so it's a lot of wrestling.
We're in a hotbed.
A lot of wrestling culture, you know, the ECW days and just, you know, WWF coming there, WCW, and, you know, the different promotions and stuff. But Pennsylvania, the whole state will always be ECW country. No matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Pennsylvania, Allentown. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm in that neck, the Allentown, Harrisburg, Pottsville, Hazleton area. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, the Northeast Circuit is just like a lifeblood of pro wrestling. We're so blessed that we have some of the best companies in the world, and they're on the East Coast.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when I was on the Brothers of Discussion podcast, and they always bring up the music scene here in Detroit. But I got to give props to the music scene in Philly as far as like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The Roots, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Eve,
Music Soul Child.
Child.
Everyone leaves Music Soul Child out, and that offends me.
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, yeah.
You got Beanie Siegel, Freeway, State Property.
Meek.
Meek Mill, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, so the hip hop scene and the wrestling scene is big, and definitely big in Philly.
I did a show Philly WrestleMania weekend for a company called, they're no longer in Philly, unfortunately, but they were called Suplex Vintage Wrestling. It was like a thrift store, but not thrift, but like a vintage wrestling store. And it was on South Street in Philadelphia. And WrestleMania weekend, I got to do commentary for a show, and they put a wrestling ring in the middle of the street. And I didn't realize, I got there early, and I had Nick Wayne on the card. We had Marcus Mathers versus Nick Wayne, who's a WWID now. We had Joey Janela on the card. We had, it was huge. It's all kind of a blur. But I remember at like intermission, I got up on the ring just to kind of look around to see down the street. I couldn't see where heads stopped. There had to be thousands of people there. But another reason why it was so popular is as the wrestling was happening, there was mad celebrities there too. Like, I couldn't believe how many people pulled up. Like, AEW talent was there, but West Side Gun was doing an autograph session in the building. Like, so he was right behind us doing autograph. So all West Side's people were there in the fourth rope and all that. And there was like thousands of people WrestleMania weekend in the middle of the street. And I got to work that show, and it was so fucking sick. Philly's such a crazy wrestling town.
That's what's up. Yeah. Cause I used to watch those, some of those old ECW clips, and it's just like, man, I don't even think I could go to one of them shows. Those shows used to be crazy. Yeah.
We have a few. Every company in the Northeast wants to be the ECW show. So a lot of independent shows, if you come to Pennsylvania, they're still trying to rock the ECW vibes.
So I know you got the promotion GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, and I know, you know, it's kind of like the modern day ECW or whatever. Do you think that that style of wrestling, hardcore wrestling, will ever get big like it was with ECW?
Yes, I think there will be a time. I think you're seeing it more now in ECW than anything. Or not, ECW, AEW.
AEW. Yeah.
When AEW does the testic death match, or they do the hardcore, it literally stirs a melting pot of wrestling talks. People, oh, they're too violent. Oh, they're this. Oh, I don't want to see a needle through someone's cheek. Like, but you're the same fans who cry for ECW to be back. AEW's giving it to you. Just accept it. Like, they put on a death match where people went through pane glass windows and light tubes with Chris Jericho and Nick Gage. Like, it's there. You just gotta, because it's not happening in the 3 acronym company that you like, doesn't mean. Actually, there's the Australian I was talking about, Raz, right there. That was the guy I met in London. It's there. You just gotta get it. But GCW does a great job. They're probably, I know people say, you know, your top 2 companies are AEW, WWE, and I'm just talking the States. So if I don't say your favorite Japanese or a company outside of the States, I apologize. But like, it goes WWE, AEW, probably I want to say TNA, but it's hard to even say that. Maybe TNA, ROH, but then like right behind it is like GCW. GCW is in the top 5 biggest wrestling company in the States when it comes to what people talk about. So they do a great job, and not everything in GCW is death match. They do put on technical wrestling matches. They put on, classic matches. Not everything on GCW is going to be blood, guts, and gore. I mean, it happens, but it's not the end all be all for that company.
Yeah. And I would say, as far as like the hardcore wrestling, and it's like you said, people was kind of like getting on AEW because they thought it was too graphic. But if ECW was if it was announced that ECW was coming back and some of the old stars from ECW was coming back, or they was doing something new, that's what you would expect from ECW. So why is it different when AEW does it? Now I will say they blood and guts match, the women's match, that match was brutal, but it was good.
Yeah, I think the women's hardcore stuff is awesome in AEW.
Yeah, and it seemed more authentic than it did with the women's war games match at Survivor Series. Because the one thing you knew that was gonna happen in the women's war games match at Survivor Series, you knew Io Sky was gonna go to the top and put the trash can over her head and do some type of jump. Everything in AEW was just authentic. They like, okay, we about to grab this. Like you didn't know that they was about to do that, but you knew that eventually somewhere in the match, Io Sky was going to put that trash can over her head and jump off the top of the cage.
Like I said, brother, it's like going to McDonald's and ordering a double cheeseburger, and it's like going to a homegrown restaurant or a mom and pop store and ordering a cheeseburger. I mean, 2 different experiences. It's the same burger, but it's not going to be cooked the same way. Some of the craziest death matches I've ever seen, or bloodiest matches I've ever seen, were Chris Statlander on the independent scene, were Candice LeRae on the independent scene, Shotzi Blackheart on the independent scene. These women are not afraid to bleed and show color and do crazy shit. It just, they're not allowed to do it in WWE. Willow Nightingale killed it in a death match style wrestling match in AEW. I love Willow. I'm a big Willow fan.
Yeah, me too.
But like, she's another one I worked with on the independent scene, just contagiously positive and fun to be around. But like I said, man, I just root for people like that. And the women on the AEW side are killing it. I love Tekla. I love Jamie. I love the addition of I'm gonna be, this sounds so disrespectful, and I'm so sorry. I'm just having a brain fart. I've been talking all day. Will Ospreay's girlfriend.
Alex Windsor.
I do not want to refer to her as somebody else's girlfriend. That's not what I was trying to do there. But I knew that was the only way you were going to assimilate. But she's super good. Like Tony Storm, Mercedes over there. Like that company is stacked, and they do such cool stuff.
Yeah. And Ted just left in the comments when we were talking about the women's matches, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
They set the bar. They set the bar for what women were going to do in AEW.
Definitely. So what's next for you? Any goals, projects, or moves you're working on that people should pay attention to?
Man, I just always make content. I'm always reviewing things. I'm always interviewing wrestlers. So I do a thing called, my content's kind of all over the place, right? So I have 5 questions with ABJ, which is kind of my short form content where I interview people and I give them 5 questions. But if we do it like this style, sometimes it goes a little longer, but we do it before show. It's hard for me to film the day of shows when I'm with people because we're all in work mode. And the last thing I want to do as a content creator is take away from work mode or people getting prepared mentally for their match to like, hey, come over and film something with me. Now they all want to, but I don't like pulling them away from their element. That when you go to a show, you're trying to get into a mind state. You're trying to get yourself psyched. You're trying to simulate you're about to get into a fight. And for me to pull you aside and make content, I mean, I think every wrestler would love for me to do that because we have that crossroads of like, I wish he would ask me, and I'm in the same boat of like, I wish they would be like, can I be on it? But it's easier for me to film it outside of wrestling so we could be in the workforce mode and put on a good show for the fans. But I do 5 questions with ABJ. They come out every Monday and Friday. The ABJ Live or ABJ On Air and ABJ Gaming, that just kind of pops up whenever it happens. The where you can see On Air almost more frequently is every Wednesday for AEW shows. I usually go live every Dynamite so I can watch wrestling with people. I used to do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I just can't do it. I need to make time for my girlfriend and my family and my friends, and I can't always be on the internet with all of you, which I wish I could, but it doesn't pay enough. If I got online and I made $1,000 every time I got on, you couldn't get me off the fucking internet.
Man, I'd be on there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I have, until that day comes, I have to spend time with people. They wouldn't care if I wasn't spending time if every time I went live $1,000 was coming in, but that's not the case. So I have to still be with my friends and family and keep those relationships. But I'm in the Discord a lot. I'm there all the time. But I have the social media championship coming, which is giving me more content. And I just started bringing back my ABJ podcast, which is more solo content for me. So every show I just did a whole episode of times I should have quit but didn't. And I kind of talk about the struggles of being a content creator, which I think if you're a content creator, you should take a listen to and maybe you relate to it. The next one I just filmed today. So fun fact, I did triple duty today. I recorded a podcast, went live, and then went live again with you. So I'm on my third piece of content today. And I'll probably be in the Discord till 3 a.m. tonight. So, but I have to edit. I'll probably be in the Discord editing the episode so it drops tomorrow on Wednesday. But I drop a new weekly podcast where it's just me doing solo conversations or topics about me personally, because at the end of the day, you are your brand and you have to make that your thing. Like wrestling's fun, but if you want to grow and you want to develop, you have to make it about you as well. And if you're just talking wrestling, then what makes you any different than anyone else? Your audience has to gravitate to you as the host. And if they don't know anything about you or you're not relatable, you're just another face talking wrestling. And I'm trying to do that. So I have tons of content coming. I'm always live. I'm always doing things. I'm always interacting with people. So just follow me. I probably post more than anyone you know. I promise you that.
That's what's up. So real quick before we get up out of here, I know you say you keep up with WWE just a little bit.
I try my best, yeah.
WrestleMania is this weekend, this Saturday and this Sunday. They got the cards set up. Night 1 is pretty okay. Night 2 is gonna really be the night where you're going to see all the good matches. You're going to see Brock versus Oba, Roman versus CM Punk, Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. You're going to see the 6-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title, Trick Williams versus Sammy. I'm not sure if you know all of the matches that for that weekend, but just what matches are you looking forward to, or which ones you think would be interesting?
So it's funny that you say for you, Sunday's the draw. I'm looking at the card, and for me, Saturday's the draw. Okay. I think Randy Cody, minus the Pat McAfee bullshit, I think that's a cool match. I think Stephanie's unbelievable. I think she's one of the best women wrestlers in the world. Her and Liv Morgan should be fun. I don't want to give you want me to give predictions or anything like that, or
you can if you want.
I think Cody keeps the title. Liv gets the title. Seth versus Gunther. Give me Seth Rollins all day long. Gunther's very good technician in the ring. I think that's a banger match. AJ, I was very worried with because I felt like the game has passed her. Because AJ, like when they bring legends that are back that are females, no disrespect to the females, but female wrestling is kind of like UFC, where like your favorite fighter in 2005 gets absolutely killed by a fighter in 2008 because everyone got good at everything. And that's women's wrestling. Women's wrestling wasn't like, I'm here because I'm a supermodel. No, these girls have been fighting and clawing, and they dominate most of the legends. And women's wrestling is on par with the men's. And sometimes these legends come back and they can't hang with the new girls.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Agree with that.
I think Becky gets her title back though at Mania. This is the match I think is going to be kind of shitty. I think the Bella twins get their titles. I think they made the titles for the Bellas to kind of put it on their resume. I think the Bellas won the titles.
You know what? Real quick, I've been hearing that not Brie Bella, but Nikki Bella is injured, so if she's not cleared, they might take them out of the match and put another tag team in.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, I could see possibly the Kabuki Warriors, because if you notice, they haven't announced like Io Sky and Asuka don't have a match at WrestleMania, and I think that's what they were leaning to.
Yeah,
but I could see, and then
well, if
I
the Bella
mean,
Twins don't win, you don't take the titles off Nia and Lash. They keep it.
oh yeah,
In my opinion. Jacob Drew, I think, is a fantastic. That's two guys who left the company, made their name on the independent scene. I can't wait for that match. The Logan Paul, Austin Theory, ISO Speed, Usos, Jay Knight. I didn't care less. That that is a bathroom break match for me. I don't give a shit. Even though I respect Logan Paul, I think he's been doing great work in the WWE as a celebrity who've come in. I think he's taken it more seriously than any other person who's ever come in through the doors. He's working Monday Night Raws. Some legends don't even work Monday Night Raws, and he's out there working and grinding. I think also Austin Theory is really talented. I'm kind of over the Usos, and LA Knight is just be yourself and stop trying to be The Rock and Stone Cold. That's just my take on that guy. Punk and Roman Reigns, I don't care. I'm a Punk guy. I love Punk, but I kind of feel like Roman's winning, and I watched Roman for the past 15 years. I don't need to see Roman as a champion ever again. He's been pushed down our neck. Like, I don't need him as a champion. Jade and Rhea, I think Jade keeps it. I don't think Rhea needs to go to SmackDown. I don't think Netflix wants to lose Rhea over there. I think Jade beats Rhea, and I think this is where we get our surprise. I think Bianca shows up to get in Jade's face to lead to the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. And you know what? I can kind of see that too, because if Io is still in the mix helping Rhea, you know, now that Jade got B-Fab and Michin on her side, I could see Bianca coming back, and at Backlash, I could see some type of 6-man tag.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think Bianca's should be cleared, and I think Rhea's the bigger name to draw opponent in for Jade, and I don't think they had a bigger name to do it. So I think Rhea's the name to draw people in, so people then get invested in Bianca returning to lead to the next pay-per-view. Demon Balor, Finn. I wish I can get excited for the Demon, but every single time he's in there, something stupid happens, like top ropes break or he gets beat. So the Demon does nothing for me. Dominic's fun to watch, but so that match is kind of cool. Sammy versus Trick, I love. I don't get the Sammy hate. If you're hating Sammy, you don't like pro wrestling. I'm convinced of that, because every single time that your favorite wrestler needs your storyline to get a jump start because it's boring as shit, they call Sammy and Kevin and they save the day because they're good workers. Obafemi versus Brock. I want to be excited for that, but I just feel like Brock's winning. And then I think Brock wins tonight, and then I think Oba beats him when Brock retires. I think they trade wins.
I've been hearing that too, that because I think Brock's supposed to be retiring this year, and I think what I read was that he didn't want to lose any matches leading up to his retirement match. So
that's what I think is happening. Yeah.
I could possibly see him losing or beating Obafemi, which I hope that's not the case. But if anybody, if Oba gonna lose to anybody, I'd rather it be Brock than somebody like. And nothing against Dominic Mysterio, but who's gonna believe Dominic Mysterio could beat Obafemi? You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So,
and the last one I have here is the Intercontinental Ladder match. I would keep it on Penta, but if they're gonna switch it, I would like to see Javon Evans, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger. And if it's not Javon, I would like JD. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you and your listeners. I'm not even watching Mania. I'm not watching it. I'm going to watch when they post the winners and the highlight all the cool stuff that's going to happen in that match. Here's my prediction. You can watch it on Instagram when they post it. So you're gonna be honest. You can go on Instagram and you go watch the entire highlight of WrestleMania and save yourself $30 because they're only working for those moments anyway.
Yeah, and
that's McDonald's. That's the McDonald's.
And they're supposed to be putting the first hour of WrestleMania on ESPN. I think ESPN2 and ESPN
for free. Yeah.
Yep. So and then I think the matches that's supposed to kick off Saturday. The Usos and LA Knight against the Vision and ISO Speed.
You couldn't give it to me for free to watch it. I don't care less.
And then on Sunday, I think the match to start off night 2 is going to be Brock Lesnar and Obafemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, I read that ESPN wanted that to be the kickoff match specifically, and WWE had no problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they owe ESPN because they thought it was going to get bigger numbers and it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, and like real quick, what do you think about WWE having a product on all of these streaming services?
So WWE, in my opinion, is doing what Marvel did back in the day. So you know why we can't have certain Marvel characters on the same cinematic universe for 10 years? Because when Marvel was money hungry, they sold 4 characters to Sony, they sold a bunch of characters to Universal, they sold a bunch of characters here, they sold a bunch of characters there. So all these people can make money and they own the rights movie-wise to those characters. And then they turn around and like, well, now we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now we have to make Iron Man movies and make him popular. Nobody in the no one bought Iron Man comics growing up. The only reason you care about Iron Man now is because that was the only movie they were allowed to make, because they couldn't make X-Men, they couldn't make Fantastic Four, they couldn't make Spider-Man, they couldn't make the Incredible Hulk. So you were forced with Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, and fucking whoever else is on that team. And because Disney can sell you a show, you bought it. But for the most part, they couldn't sell you any of the other characters they wanted to because they sold all the rights off everywhere before they got there. And I feel like they're kind of doing the same thing for WWE. They're selling the rights all over the place. I have a theory, but I don't want to be right about it. I think Vince is coming back. I really do.
I keep hearing that. Everybody keeps saying that.
I think Saudis are going to buy WWE and they're going to put Vince back in charge.
Wow. That
and I think a lot, I don't want to be political, but a lot of the Trump administration people are making deals with the Saudi government and they're buying up media properties. You remember ESPN? Remember how fun it was to play those games? Yeah, that's owned by Donald Trump's son-in-law and the Saudis now. They bought EA Sports.
Yeah. I read about that, and that was crazy.
Yeah. So like political affiliation people with our president and the Saudi government are buying up all of our media companies. They're buying Paramount. They're buying Netflix. They're buying it all. They're snatching all up. They're controlling the media, and I think they're going to buy back the TKO brand. I think TKO, Amari Samuel, is going to sell to the highest bidder, and he's going to make his money back on investment. I think he's jacking up all the prices to make as most money as he possibly can, and then sell low or sell high to another person, and then those people can look like the new heroes of the company and go back to reasonable prices.
Yeah. But do you like if that was the case, Vince did come back in, and like you said, the Saudis being
I would never support that company ever again.
Yeah, and do you think it's going to make the company better? Because and not saying that you I know you said that's your theory that you think Vince is coming back.
I don't think Vince ever left. I think Vince has been booking the whole time. Historically speaking, if you see certain people in creative seats like Bruce Pritchard, like fucking what's his name? The Freebird. I'm having a brain again.
Michael Hayes.
If you see those two guys, there's a few names that are sitting on the boards. If they're there, they're loyal. Do you think I start a cult? Vince has a cult. He's still 100% pulling strings. Yeah, do you think the product has really changed? Triple H's NXT Gold brand was the best wrestling in the world. He has been in charge now for how long? Nothing has changed.
Yeah. And you could definitely tell because like when he was in NXT, he was basically running it, so he could do whatever he want. And then when he got called up, it's kind of messed up because it's like he's in charge of creative, but he still got a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like Vince was his boss, and then now this guy from TKO, he still got to answer to somebody. So it's like he may have an idea for something, but if that boss say, hey, do this or do that.
What if they do the Montreal screw job in Vegas and they count a fast 3 on CM Punk, and CM Punk literally thought he was going to win, and then Vince comes down and goes, get the fuck out of my company.
Man, you know how many headlines that would make? Like,
yeah.
WWE,
not the good ones, but wrestling fans, WWE loyals will 100% love it. They'll love it. They'll love the fact that a man essentially sold his, I don't want to say the wrong thing on the internet and get you in trouble, but he was sex trafficking his workers. He shouldn't be involved in the business.
Yeah,
sorry.
I agree. I definitely agree. And if anything, Because me personally, I don't think that if he came back, the company would be any better. I
No.
think storyline wise, I think it would be worse because especially if he's taking over, and we already know how like Vince like goofy stories of goofy characters.
Did you read any of the text messages that were leaked between Vince and Nick Khan and Triple H and Nick Khan?
No.
You should read them. They're very interesting. Triple H is shitting his pants right now because he doesn't even think Vince is fully out of the picture. Triple H is essentially playing ball with the creative team he has, and he's not allowed to fully run things because he knows that in this business, the ghost of Vince McMahon will never go away until he's 6 feet in the ground.
Yep, I agree with that. I definitely agree. And it'd be so funny if you something just pop up on your phone or you get an ESPN alert and they say Vince then bought back the company. I'll be like, oh man,
he's still 49% shareholder of the company.
Oh. Well,
he only, I think TKO has 51% and Vince has like the rest.
Wow.
So they have just enough over him that they say that he's not in charge, but he still has 100%. He still is very much making a dime off that company.
Wow, that's what's up. ABJ, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you having me. I would love to talk wrestling more often with you. I apologize I'm not as up to date on the wrestling WB side of things, but
it's all good.
I had a blast.
It's all good. Same here. Before we get up out of here, did you want to give any shout outs? Did you want to plug your platforms again?
Yeah, sure. So Anthony Blackwell Jr., ABJ on all social media. My link tree is available on all my socials in the bio. That'll take you to everything you need between my Discord and my YouTube channel and my Spotify, where you can listen to the audio only. Support goes a long way. Anything that you can do to share and like my posts as I do them, the shorts, the reels, whatever it may be. I can't believe I'm actually even saying this, but I am 300K views away on YouTube from being a 1 million viewed channel. I can't believe that. I'm literally at 700K views. To say that my channel has been viewed 1 million times, if you would have told me 8 years ago that would be a thing, it wouldn't believe it. And I only started this rebrand 3 years ago. So I may not have huge subscribers. I know you're killing it, almost 9,000. I wish to get closer to that double digits, but I'm stuck around the 1,700. But we're going surely but slowly. I know the people who are subscribing are the people who are, like I guess, once again, I can tell you every single person about that chat in that chat. And if you come and join the Discord and we get to know each other, I promise I'll do the same thing for you. Join the Cult of ABJ. The Kool-Aid is delicious. We are a great cult, family, and we treat everyone great. Just come join us. It's not scary, I promise. You're gonna find your people. Mike D, come hang out in the cult. You know what I mean? You could be an honorary 313 cult member. Spread the word of ABJ. Let's collaborate. If you're still listening, brothers of discussion, come join the cult. I want more content creators to come in and hang out and get to know my people and be a part of it. But yeah, I have collaborated in the past with content creators. It has not gone my way because people are selfish and ignorant and only care about themselves. But if you're cool and you're down to be looking at each other as equals and not, I'm going to join in and try to infiltrate and take all you worked for, will be great. I will say I'm very blunt and honest. And if you don't like blunt and honest and you don't want to be checked on your stuff, like if you stink, I'm going to tell you stink. And I the same way I want you to tell me if I do. So if you like that vibe, we're here for you. But Mike, I seriously appreciate it. Thank you so much. How did you find me by chance?
You know what? I know I had put a post on Facebook posting that I was looking for new guests.
Oh, on one of those content creator pages.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. And I think somebody may have tagged you in the post.
There it is.
So I think that's what it was. I think I reached out to you.
Yeah, well, let's collaborate more, man. I'd love to have you on mine. If you're free on a Wednesday, come and turn your TV on and watch Dynamite with me tomorrow night. You could be my guest for the night. I'd love to keep collaborating and do more things. I want to learn more about the 313 independent scene. I don't know. I want to learn more about you as a person and put you onto my people so they come and support you. If you're here for the Cult of ABJ, I'm gonna get right in your face. If you're here for the Cult of ABJ, you better be hitting that subscribe and that thumbs up. I don't know what a thumbs up are right now, but we need double digits. So hit it. hit the share, hit the hype video. So spend all your points that you have acquired being on my channel and hype this video. Share it out, and let's get this guy. And he's one of us now. He's here. We have his blood. We have his social security number. We're locked in. He's ours. He's ours. He ain't going anywhere. He's with us. But no, subscribe and show his love, and let's grow the good side of the internet wrestling community and showcase amazing people.
Hey, I appreciate it, and shout out to Ted. I appreciate you subscribing. Yeah, I'll definitely get on Discord and join the Cult of ABJ.
Here it is.
And yeah,
you can't forget it. Everyone loves ABJ. I don't care what your orientation is. Everybody loves something. You know what I mean? And yeah. ABJ's it.
That's what's up. Before I get up out of here, oh yeah, and definitely, yeah. Before I get up out of here, just wanted to thank everybody for watching the podcast. Definitely got to give a shout out to the whole Cult of ABJ. Y'all definitely came and supported. You guys are definitely more than welcome to come back on. Even if ABJ is not on, whatever guest we have on, just come on, show some love.
We have his blood. You're allowed to come in here.
But make sure you follow ABJ on YouTube. I think you guys got 175 subscribers, 1,070
around there, like 1,700 something. Yeah, we're in that ballpark.
So they trying to get to 2,000, so help them get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just check out all of his content. Go to his link tree and click on the links and check out the cool stuff he got going on. Wrestling from the 313. I'm on Facebook. We over 1,000 followers there, so follow on there. Instagram, we just hit 400 followers, so we trying to get that number up some. TikTok, we're over 1,000 followers, so follow on there. And sometimes I'm on X. I'm trying to do more on X now. Try to get.
I've been leaning more towards Blue Sky because that's they're my people. I feel X is fine, but it's just not. I don't really put too much effort into it.
Yeah, me too. And of course, gotta subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are on the road to 9K. We trying to get to 9,000 subscribers, and then after that, it's on the road to 10K. We got to get 10K subscribers. Hopefully, we can get that by the end of the year. And also go to W. Shout out to W, our sponsors. Go to their website, w.gg. Get you the Energy Blend Mix. Go to checkout, put in W313. You get 10% off your order. Shout out to WSN, the Wrestling Society Network. Go to their Facebook page, check out the podcast on that page, go to the website, download the app.
How do I get my content on WSN? How do I want to be part of it. I want when people click WSN, they see ABJ's face.
You know what? I can we'll talk.
This guy's good. You should have him on here. He's a good community.
Yeah. I can
I only need a little bit of blood. They just got to send me a little bit. And,
I can give you one of the CEOs to WSN, and you can talk to him.
Yeah, all my link tree too for you. There's a website. I'm not just cheaply plugging my merchandise page, but there's a merch page on my website called The Fourth Wall. They shot me a message because they seen that I was on Teespring, and they're like, "Hey, you should tell Teespring to fuck off and come over to us and make your merchandise on our page." And I have a referral link on there. So if you click on my referral link and you sign up and you make 3 sales, me and you both get a credit for a free item on the merch page. So when I first joined, they gave me like $25 free, and I ordered like a piece of merch that I got to keep for myself. But I just ordered a whole bunch of t-shirts. Dude, the print quality is amazing. You could put it on the front, the shoulders, the tag, like my tag. Every shirt I get has my logo on the tag of the shirt. Like when they send you mail, like it has the Cult of ABJ on the letter thing that they just randomly put on for you. And then every single person who orders, you get to see who ordered, if the tracking got to them, what product, what size. You can track the whole. Before, when I was on other web merch pages that were like the print on demand, I'd be like, yo, did you get your stuff yet? Like, where I can't see anything. This site does not do that. I can 100% watch from the day it's printed to the day it hits the person's door. And then you could also, like, almost like Cameo, send the people who buy merchandise personalized message, like, thank you so much for supporting me. Like, you're so much more connected with your people. Definitely check it out. It's a great merch page for upcoming creators, and it's 100% free.
Yeah,
they don't sponsor me, but if you want to, Fourth Wall, please do.
Hey, I'm gonna have to check them out.
I think more content creators should know about it. I honestly think it's the next wave of selling merchandise, and their catalog of what you can make is fucking huge.
Cool, definitely. I'm gonna have to check that out. ABJ, I appreciate you once again coming through. I appreciate everybody watching. Next week we got 2 back-to-back episodes. Check us out on Tuesday and Wednesday. Where's my okay? We got Junie Tune coming on Tuesday, and we got Dick Yerke coming on Wednesday. So we're gonna talk to them, see what they got going on. Dick Yerke, I think he's coming on to promote a show in his area, so we're gonna talk to him about that. But yeah, this is another episode of Wrestling from the 313. ABJ, once again, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everybody enjoy your night. Enjoy WrestleMania this weekend. And yeah, it's your boy Mike D, Wrestling from the 313. We are out, and we will see you next week. Peace.